Okay, so the last section we are in chapter 8, we are solving quadratics. And what that means is when the quadratic is now equal to 0, we have to find the value of x for which it satisfies the equation. When someone says satisfies the equation, they means makes it true. So if I have 18x squared minus 9x equals 0, how do I solve for x? Normally, when we had an equation, say x plus 5 equals 0, you removed whatever was near x, and that was your answer. Quadratics are different, though. They're more complicated. We have an x squared and an x. We can't just move this to the other side and solve. That x is still there. So, hold on. So we have to use a method called factoring, and that's what you've been doing the past few days. So we look at both pieces and we say, okay, we can factor using a GCF of 9x. When I remove 9x, I'm left with 2x minus 1. Okay, now that it's factored, there's a property called the zero product property. And it says that if I have two factors, we'll call this factor A, and we'll call this factor B. And if I multiply them together to equal 0, that means A equals 0 or B equals 0. And you solve for both. Okay, so now that I factored, I set each piece equal to 0. And I get 9x equals 0 and 2x minus 1 equals 0. Therefore, when I divide by 9, x is equal to 0. And 2x equals 1. Therefore, x equals a half. So what this means is I can substitute 0 back in here. When I do that, what will I get? 0 minus 0. Yes, that works. If I put 1/2 back in, let's try it. 18 times 1/2 squared minus 9 times 1/2. All right, well, 1/2 squared is a fourth. So if 18 times a fourth minus 9 over 2 equals 0. Well, 18 over 4 is 9 over 2. And 9 over 2 minus 9 over 2 equals 0. Yeah, so these are both true. So to solve this equation, I have to factor, set each piece equal to 0, and solve using the zero product property. So you're not doing anything really different now. You're just saying, what does x have to be to make this statement true? Okay, let's try another one. Okay, we don't have formal notes with this. This is just for you to see and try. 36x squared equals negative 12x. Okay, you can do this on a sheet of paper. You do not have to hand it in, or you can just watch. Pause the video if you need to. All right, well, I have them on either side. I realize this one's an x squared and this was an x. So I got to bring them to the other side. Get x's to one side. Anything that's not an x to another. I see that I can factor using a GCF, and it remains with 3x plus 1. The zero product property says that I can set each factor equal to 0, and then I just solve. So x equals 0, x equals negative 1/3, and that's it. Sometimes notation will be a bracket, not a comma, or not a parenthesis, but a bracket. Okay, I'm going to do two more. X squared minus 12x plus 32. We don't have a GCF here. If there's no GCF, we see it's a trinomial. We also see there's 3 terms with a plus in the back. That means it's going to be minus minus. Factors are 8 and 4. All right, now we set each piece equal to 0. And we solve. That's it. That's our answer. So if I put 4 back in here, 16 minus 48 plus 32, I'm going to get 0. 8 is 64 squared, or 8 squared is 64, minus 96 plus 32, you're going to get 0. All right. And lastly, we got to make sure everything is to one side. We don't have three terms with a plus in the back. We have a minus. So one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. Factors of 45 are 9 and 5, but that does not give me 12. Or we could do 15 and 3. Does that give me 12? Yeah, so positive 15, negative 3. The zero product property says we set each piece equal to 0, and we solve. So my answer is negative 15, and my answer is 3. And that's it. Okay, there's Delta Math homework for you to do. Make sure you do that and hand it in by Sunday.